Hi, welcome to Do It For You, Do It For Your Students. My name is Elsie Walker, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about healthy habits and the full-time faculty members who work from home and the various health challenges that they face. Do any of these look familiar? Do you spend a lot of late nights staring at the PC trying to get papers done? Or maybe you're the type that can multitask during the day and you always seem to have one hand on the PC and one hand on everything else. It might be, in fact, food. Yes, you can multitask. You can eat and fuel yourself while you work. And since you probably have a lot of work to do, you'll need a lot of fuel, just like that sandwich that this guy's scarfing down right now. And then doesn't it seem like sometimes you're in front of that PC forever, and that you work so many hours that, well, you end up finding out that you fell asleep in front of it. How many cups of strong coffee you had? It just wasn't enough. Then what? Well, you finish your long day, hours and sitting in front of the PC or on the phone, and then what? Well, maybe this. You go to stretch out and relax by sitting on a couch and watching TV, or maybe you sit down to read a book, or maybe sit down to do some really primo snacking. What's so bad about sitting? Well, according to an article by Rachel Anderson from the CareShare site, which was created by Dr. Oz and Jeff Arnold, and you've probably heard of Dr. Oz. He's on all kinds of TV shows. What's been found is that sitting for 5 or 6 hours a day, even if you spend an hour a day at the gym, is equivalent to smoking an entire pack of cigarettes. Although sitting may seem harmless, there really is an impact on your life. A study on WebMD added this. Combing through 47 prior studies, Canadian researchers found that prolonged daily sitting was linked to significantly high odds of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and dying. And even if study participants exercised regularly, the accumulated evidence still showed worse health outcomes for those who sat for long periods. However, those who did little to no exercise faced even higher health risks. Now you might say, wait a minute, I'm just sitting there. How can I be increasing my odds of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, dying? I mean, I'm just sitting there. What's going on? Well, the why comes from 2 more studies on Oz's site. And it's the fact that the long time spent on your rear affects a number of things. It can affect blood sugar, triglycerides, your good cholesterol, your resting blood pressure, and levels of the appetite hormone. And these are all biomarkers of obesity and cardiovascular disease. And also, sitting sabotages your lymph system, which helps the body fend off disease, infections. How it does is, the lymph vessels, which drain off infection, don't have a pump like the heart does. They're controlled by rhythmic contractions of the muscles in your legs. So when you sit, the lymph system can't do its job. Now, unfortunately, we don't want enough what we don't want to have happen is this. We don't want it to end up that one day from sitting you end up looking like this. We want to do something. Because how can you take care of your students if you don't take care of yourself? So, one solution is let's get moving. And it's as simple as getting up periodically and walking. The great philosopher Hippocrates said, walking is man's best medicine. And it can truly be that. If you looked at what sitting does, it shows that movement is essential to good health. And this quote I shared is actually one that is mentioned by Leslie Sansone, who is a fitness expert. She's been on writes for women's magazines. She has a number of certifications, and she's been QVC's fitness expert in the past for its different fitness products. And she says this in her exercise DVDs. Walking is so important. And you don't need much to do it but your own two legs. Now, walking does more than just actually good health. It can benefit more than just health. For instance, we tell our students to get up and walk away from a piece of writing to get new perspective, to better proofread it, or sometimes when they're having writer's block. Well, so getting up and walking away not only gets us moving and feeling better and gets the body working like it should, but it can also help us do a better job for our students by giving us a fresh set of eyes as we look at their papers. I mean, if you're looking at a series of papers on and on and on, that can sometimes get tedious, and you might actually inadvertently develop a certain mindset or a halo effect about how you're seeing papers. You tend to start to see all of them in the same way. Getting up and getting new perspective allows you to have some fresh eyes, fresh ideas on how you can help the students in their work. Now, some might say, but you know, I work so long, I just don't feel like getting up and moving. It's so comfortable to be sitting, and I get so tired. Well, you'd be surprised about what getting up and moving can do for you. And it says it all here in this excerpt from another article. While it may seem as if moving about when you feel exhausted is the quickest route to feeling more exhausted, the opposite is actually true. Experts say that increasing physical activity, particularly walking, increases energy. And one of the things that I know from, and going back to Leslie Sansone, because she does go through this in a lot of her DVDs, not just leading people through exercise, but also talking about it, that exercise increases blood flow. It increases circulation and adrenaline, and that helps actually increase your energy. So when you feel tired, instead of saying, oh, it's more comfortable just to keep sitting here, get up and move a little bit. Again, it'll help your perspective on your work, and it'll also be a little energy boost, a more healthy energy boost than possibly saying, you know, I think I have a candy bar in the desk drawer. I'll use the sugar. The sugar high won't be will help you for a little while, but won't sustain the energy, not the way some physical activity will. So you can walk a little, just take a little break now and then from your work. Maybe just go outside when it's good weather, walk around your yard. Or you could use some kind of, if you can't get outside, use some kind of walking exercise program that's on YouTube, the internet, or get some DVDs. Or you can walk more. And walking is a great way to get in good shape and stay in shape. Brisk walking for about 30 minutes a day, several days a week, and we're talking like 5 days a week, is best. And again, all you need is your own 2 feet. Sometimes it doesn't help to bring 4 more feet with you. Take the dog for a walk. Or do the walk to get some chores done. Instead of, if there's a store that's a couple blocks from you and you won't be carrying too much, instead of driving there, why not walk there? Again, walking is simple, doesn't take really any equipment, and it's a great way to boost your health, boost your energy. Now, again, benefits of walking, and it's from beyond getting out of the chair. Some of them we've talked about already, but to add some more, you can be more creative. It gets more oxygen to the brain, and that's what's said in Leslie Sanson has said in one of her DVDs, that exercising, people don't realize, can actually boost creativity and brain function. It's a way to maintain a healthy weight. Sitting, as we saw, adds to obesity. A way to fight that is to get moving, and walking can really help in weight loss. Now I mentioned some, if you need to do guided walking or you're walking inside and want to use some DVDs, those aren't just walking in place. They will have some exercises that you can do to move arms, to move legs, to get the body going, get the circulation line, the blood flowing. Juice in the joints is what Leslie Sanson says. And all that can help you in maintaining a healthy body and a healthy weight. And again, benefits of walking: manage various diseases, including heart disease, high blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes. One that this article from the Mayo Clinic has said is it strengthens your bones. And I'll be honest, I could not find a reasoning why it strengthens bones. I don't see how the exercise is not, it said bones, not muscle, but it does say that it strengthens the bones. Walking can lift your mood. I see it as stress release. How many times have you just dealt with maybe some difficult students or a difficult situation, and you'd like to just, or you have one to handle? You need to just kind of like get your stress under control. A great way is to take a walk. It's very relaxing, and it can help you, especially, you hate to come off having had a very stressful situation and then go right into dealing with more students. You're tight to begin with, and that may affect how you deal with other people during the rest of the day. You may not realize it, but it may set the tone. Taking a walk gives you that opportunity to release stress, lift your mood, and feel better. Walking improves your balance and coordination. I've seen that, especially in some of the different walking videos that I've looked at. My Leslie Sanson, Jessica Smith, because you do some exercises that you can do while basically walking in place. But even just simple walking by itself can do that as well. And of course, the faster and farther and more frequently you walk, the greater the benefits. It's just like if we thought of the body as one muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. But let's say, okay, I've told you about walking, and walking is the thing that I love to do. Hey, it's part of my name, Walker. But what if walking isn't for you? And again, we want to try to, for the full-time faculty, where so sedentary. We need to do something about that. But walking not for you? Well, here's some other things, some maybe smaller tips for those especially who say, well, not really into a lot of exercise. That's really that's really not me. I might play a game of golf or play tennis, do something here and there, but I really don't want an exercise program. But I do want to do something about the dangers of sitting too long. Okay? So here's some ideas. Try standing or doing chores while watching TV. TV is a killer because you go from sitting in the classroom to okay, I'm done. Now I'm going to sit and watch TV. When all you've done is a few steps from one room to the next, unless the TV happens to you have the TV in the same room. So, one of the tips from the article on Dr. Oz's site is to try standing while watching TV by doing some chores. A lot of people do that. They tend to not only they tend to do other things while they're watching TV. TV is sometimes just their background noise, if you want, for them. So maybe bring out the laundry and sort it, fold it. There are other things that you could possibly do while standing while watching TV. One thing while you're working, if you say, hey, I don't have the time to be taking a real break away from my desk. I really feel I'm chained to, I have just too much to do. Okay, then find things you can do during your workday that you can do standing. And one of them is taking phone calls. Okay, stand up when you're taking your phone call. When you're on the phone, hit the speaker button, maybe even walk a little while you talk. I'm actually one of those. I've actually got before I was a full-time faculty member, in one of my last positions, I had a terrible habit of getting on. I had one of those cordless portable phones at work. I would pick it up and I was for talking and walking at the same time. It would be in a little space, but it's almost like I couldn't talk unless I got up and walked. Now, of course, I just sit still for all the calls. Everything is seated. But if you could make those things that you could do that are part of your workday that you don't necessarily have to be sitting for, try it. Try standing. One of the things that they also talked about is that people can look into things like a treadmill desk. And I would have put a picture, but I was afraid that for copyright laws, I didn't have one I could use. But basically, it's a setup where the PC is at in front of you at eye level, but it's on a platform. And there's actually, you can get on a treadmill and be doing the treadmill while you're doing your work. There is something else that I was looking at, and it's a Gold's desk cycle that you can put under your desk and be moving your legs. But the problem is, although you're moving your legs, you're not necessarily moving all of your body. You're still kind of seated on your bum, and I'm not sure about how, if that's truly the best idea, but it might be something to look into. Another thing, if you want to take a break, but you're saying, hey, look, I just don't like walking, but something you do, maybe yoga. Yoga is a great way to do a little stress relief, get the body moving. Or if there's any kind of other exercise that gets you up for a break time, whether it's a little calisthenics, I would not necessarily cycling, because I'm not sure about that one, but if it's another thing that gets you up and off of that chair, do some exercise, and that's your thing, go for it. Now, just in case you're wondering how often the experts say you should be getting up and out of that chair, the ideal is to take a break, get out of the chair be out of the chair every 30 minutes. But that's the ideal, and I don't think that any full-time faculty member would be able to say, yeah, I can, every 30 minutes I can get up out of my chair. But again, that's the ideal. Reality is probably breaking it up a lot less during the day, but having multiple times where you take that 5 or 10 minutes to get up, get out of the chair, and move. Now, I just want to share a little bit with you about my story, how I got into all this, and my interest in getting healthier, finding out about the problems of sitting too long, etc. I have COPD, lung disease, and during one of my visits with my doctor, he was going over some blood work, and basically he said, I'd like to give you some good news, but I'm looking at this, I have no good news, except that your blood pressure was good today. He had been telling me that I had gained a lot of weight. I gained weight before this position, and now I was sitting even more than ever. And I had become far too sedentary. Also, I developed some very bad snacking habits. When you're working a lot and you are feeling tired, one of those things that I said you tend to do is look for a boost. And not wanting to leave my desk, I was using food as a boost, particularly sweets, because I thought of sugar as a way to get some quick energy. And I was also obviously snacking a whole lot of the wrong things. And finally, looking at me, the doctor gave me an ultimatum. He said, I have told you a few times that you really need to lose weight, because with your lungs, the weight just adds to the problem. He says, and I just can't see that you're doing this on your own. So what I want you to think about is this. I want to start you on diet pills, under a doctor's care. And if that didn't work, something like a gastric bypass. Well, hold on. This was last May, and I was like, hold on. Have things got that bad? I do not want to get diet pills, and no way do I want to have anything that has to do with surgery, because people with lung disease already are at risk with anesthesia. And I said, I don't want somebody messing with me just to make me lose weight. I cannot do this myself. Wait, it's a wake-up call. Yes, I can. And I kind of begged him to give me a chance. And he told me flat out he didn't believe I could do it. He says, we've had to talk before. I told you, you really should lose weight, and nothing. Now all of a sudden you can do it? No. He says, and so I said, oh, come on, what's it going to hurt if we give me till, and this was the end of May. And I said, what if just give me to the end of the summer. He says, well, I said, is it going to make that much difference? And he was reticent about it, but he said, okay, I'll give you to the end of the summer. And what I would want to see, good as show of faith, is 4 pounds lost per month. So in essence, by August, I would have to have lost 12 pounds. So I got going, and I lost the 12 pounds, and he was in major minor shock, and said if I continued to do it, he would say nothing more about the diet pills or the gastric bypass. As of my last visit, which was yesterday, and I had to go because unfortunately I had a COPD flare-up, I have lost 32 pounds. And I would show a before and after picture, but I've had a COPD flare-up and I don't feel so. Now, how did I do it? I got up and walking. For me, that was the type of exercise that spoke to me. Again, with lung disease, I have to be careful and pick a good exercise, one that's aerobic. And right now, with the weight, there were some options, but this seemed to be the one that really spoke to me. 20 years ago, I was in a walking club, and we walked a series of trails building up to like a 5K walk. And I said, I really like that. I can do this. I wanted something that I can do in my home, so that I didn't have to worry, about the weather. So I started out with, I heard that this fitness expert, Leslie Sansone, had videos. And I was curious, so I got one, tried it, and it really was working. It really works for me. And it's something that spoke to me. I bought more of her DVDs. One of the things that worked for me is the fact that she not only goes through the exercises, but she also talks about the benefits and what there is to walking. Again, she was, like, as I said, she talked about how it can boost creativity, the blood flow, everything. And that she has a good warm up and cool down. I think that's important because I do 30 minutes of aerobic brisk walking with this. And I think that makes for safe. You shouldn't be doing brisk exercise and suddenly stop. That's not healthy. Either you have to let the body adjust. And I appreciate the way that she has her exercises put together. There are some up on YouTube, but I think those are illegal. They're copyright violations. I do have to get her DVDs. Jessica Smith is someone else who is coming up on the walking front. I've only tried a couple of hers. While I don't think that she's as good as Leslie, her warm-ups and cool-downs aren't that long or good. She has some very interesting exercise moves that she's incorporated with walking that really can be challenging. So if you want a little extra challenge, Jessica Smith can do it. With her, the main thing to watch, and with anything, is to watch what level. I always say with Jessica Smith, you have to watch for the small print. I inadvertently decided to wanted to try one of hers, and I thought I was going to take a basic to intermediate. Instead, after I got a very good workout doing it, I found out that I had done an intermediate to advanced exercise program by her. Hers are on YouTube. She puts them up there. She does have some DVDs, but she has her own channel on YouTube, Jessica Smith TV. And she doesn't just have walking, she has other exercises too. And that's something to be careful, because sometimes they are put under the wrong category. And I found that out with the Latin exercises. Very fun, but not all necessarily under walking. And of course, also one of the things that I try to do is, in good weather, like last summer, is get out and walk outside. Get that fresh air, get that exercise. I live within a quarter of a mile of the post office. We do not get postal delivery to the house. There's a local post office. Most people, hey, it's a quarter of a mile, everybody just drives. But I said, I can walk that quarter of a mile to and from. And that gets me up and out and seeing a little bit of different scenery. And I live in a very rural forest area, and it's beautiful. Sometimes you will see deer or wild turkeys or something like that, and it's really neat. So walking to the post office, and so I've been doing these things, and that's how I've been losing my weight, and also watching what I eat and cutting out those, finding the healthy snacks. And we'll talk about that in a minute. I'll add that before I end. And I do have to give credit where credit's due. I couldn't do it without the help of my coach. And this is my coach, Wanda, my cat. And as you'll notice in this picture, she is helping to get a Leslie Sansone DVD into portable DVD player. There is something about Leslie Sansone that really gets to Wanda. You turn on a Leslie Sansone DVD, and wherever Wanda is in the house, she will come. Say she loves Leslie, and she will stay nearby through the exercise. She'll sit on her 3-story cat condo that she shares with the other 2 cats, and I actually incorporate something, patting and tickling her into the exercises. If it's a walk forward 1 2, walk forward 1 2, I make it 1 forward, walk forward 1 2, pat the cat. Uh, so Wanda has, it's kind of been cute to have her there, and I call her my coach. Now, while moving around is great, and you pick what works for you so that you're not sitting on your butt all the time, whether you move for a little bit or more. There's one other thing that you shouldn't forget, and that's to watch the snacking. And I want to just wrap up with a little bit of snacking. Okay, and I love this. This is from an article I found online. That snacks are the most insidious diet breaker. It's very easy to, especially when you're working, just grab something that's unhealthy, and it not only hurts your midsection for your weight, but it actually does nothing to help you as far as keeping you going, keeping your energy up, and helping you to work better. We think that if we'll grab some candy, something with sugar, cake, cookie, it'll help, but it won't. As this quote says, there was a study of 690 men of young and middle age, and they were tested, and the men who ate the most trans fat snacks performed worse on a memory test compared to men who ate less fat. So it does affect not only your energy levels, but also your ability to concentrate. You want to have healthy fats that boost your metabolism, but not your waistline. And the results of wrong snacking, I already have them. You can have lack of energy. It can break your diet, adding to obesity, which overall can hurt your health. Tooth decay, gotta add that. If you're living on, sugary snacks as your energy booster, hey, eventually it's going to catch up with you. And tooth decay and tooth problems are no laughing matter. They can be a real bummer, I know from experience. And now, as we said, possible lack of memory and focus. All the results you didn't know. There was a lot to wrong snacking. Many people just think that it's gaining weight, but it's more than that. Now, the benefits of right snacking. This article talked about, again, sugary snacks are like fuel that runs hot and flames out. They give you a quick boost, but they don't last. Okay? And they can actually leave you hungry, cranky, sleepy, and unable to concentrate. A healthy snack is more like a slow-burning fuel that keeps you going all day. Some of those healthy snacks. Or what can we do to snack right? One is have several small snacks a day. Don't just binge out at one point. Say, I got to keep working, and work up to that snack as you're going to be your big boost. That's not going to help. You're actually probably going to overeat on that snack. Okay? To keep the energy level up, have several small snacks during the day. Another thing is to don't do the work and eat juggling act. Studies show, like this from McGee, that doing that you actually end up eating more than you even need, because you're not really you're trying to do too much at the same time. Also, and I didn't see this in the article, but I would think it's not too good for your digestion. So the idea is right snacking is take a break from what you're doing. Don't try to multitask, but when you're snacking, focus on the food. That way you will eat only what you need. You can keep to a small, and it will help you. I add my own, go up and get the snack. Don't just have a bunch of snacks in the drawer. You want a snack? Go somewhere, get it. Now you've gotten out of the chair. It may only be for that 5 minutes, but you've gotten out of the chair. And eat the right types of food. And examples of snacks are a little bowl instant oatmeal, a tuna packet, and not in the oil, but in the water, These are great snacks. And WebMD has a list of healthy workplace snacks. And even though we don't leave our house to go to a workplace, these still can apply to us. So I have that list. I'm sure we'll share the PowerPoint with all of you so you can see what some of those healthy snacks are. And so what's been the moral of this whole presentation? Get off your butt. You can't help your students if you are tired, exhausted, unhealthy. If you're cranky, you're stressed out, it's no good for them. So get off your butt, snack right, be good to your students, and be good to yourself. Are articles that you can look at. And just from a teaching point of view, I wanted to share that the quotes that I shared in my presentation, I made an exercise in my class where I shared those quotes and asked the students to take one or more and give me reword them into a legitimate paraphrase with citation. So my students have been looking at the quotes that I shared, and I have actually also incorporated. So doing this presentation has done double duty, and I hope that for you, you've learned something and it's benefited. Thanks for your time today. 2 pages of references so that